Hello, everyone. Welcome to Ryan and Brian Talk Sports, presented by Pickett Sports and Sleeper Picks. Ryan, how are you doing? I feel like
Doing
ass.
doing good,
Uh,
man. It's funny that how the mood has shifted from one show to the next. This time last week we were just somber and just sad after watching the Sixers get their ass kicked, and people were shit talking us. And now, I mean, I can't even really describe what we're seeing out of the Celtics. I can't really describe just what we're seeing out of the Lakers. This is just bad conference finals. So,
yeah,
uh,
it does.
funny stuff.
It's looking more and more like we can have two conference finals, either be sweep or gentleman sweep, which is very interesting. I mean, I don't know if you know this, but people probably know this, but they already have the final schedule set. So if they wrap these series up today and tomorrow, there's just no basketball for a week and a half.
That's
So
crazy.
it's one of those things you can't go back and reschedule certain things. So they're gonna be the NBA will not like it if they end these early, but it I mean neither team has really shown that they are going to, put up a fight. Hopefully we see that tonight and
Yeah,
tomorrow. But wow,
absolutely.
this has been deflating.
Yeah, no doubt. And hopefully we could put on our like tinfoil hats and think about how badly the NBA would hate to have that like 9, 10 day break. And maybe we have some form of a competitive series in at least one of these sides. But
Yeah.
I don't think either Lakers or
It's
Celtics
not
want to
it's
win
not
more
look
than two
good.
games, but
I
maybe.
mean, I didn't even watch the game yesterday, but I saw the clip of Jalen Brown bringing up the ball, looking around, no one moving. So he just threw like a 40-foot three up. And everyone, I watched that clip and I was like, man, what happened to this team? They just look lost.
I mean, Brown, I don't know why, but one of the weirdest stats I see is Jalen Brown doesn't have a steal or a block in the 3 games of the series. And that probably means so little, but for some reason that's so daunting to me. How like I have no fucking clue how that's possible.
Yeah.
I don't know. Maybe he's no hustle, or maybe he just hasn't been in the right spots at the right time. It's not like he's a huge steal or block guy, but still just peculiar to see 0 and 0 in all 3 games in those stats.
Yeah. I think, yeah, someone asked if it was the first time. Yeah, there's never been a situation where both teams got swept in
Is
in
that
the
right?
conference. Yeah, I mean, you would think it wouldn't happen, but man, this is just I actually thought the Lakers had a lot of life game one. Second half, they kind of put it together, and I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna start figuring out this team. And then they just looked flat the last two games. So
Yeah, big time.
Jamal Murray's on crack right now. I don't know what he scored, like 17 points that one fourth quarter where he just scored 20 straight points with like one
He
Michael
shot.
Porter. He had
Yep.
like there was like one Michael Porter 2 point shot like mixed into like Murray's 20 straight points. It was crazy to see.
Yeah, no
Uh
doubt.
yeah. Uh
In
yes.
1957, it happened. Both conference finals swept.
But okay, so it's
Shout
been
out Tone.
yeah. I think it was yeah. So I think I saw there was like yeah. So since like the '60s, like the merger or whatever. So yeah, okay. It's been a while. It's been a while. Yeah, it was divisions finals then,
Little
and
while.
that was like
Oh,
that was
nice.
back when there was six teams. Yeah. So we're gonna go over MLB. I don't have anything locked in for MLB yet. I do have one spot I want to talk about. Brian's got an MLB play, and then want to break down this Lakers game.
Yep.
It should be a shorter show. I feel like ass. I texted Ryan earlier.
I'm so intrigued.
I'm like 90% sure I gave myself a concussion, which is terrible. I mean, I was thrown up earlier. I couldn't see. I took a nap, which you're not supposed to do. But yeah, I was I was at the gym, Ryan, and I was warming up on bench, and I had 185 on the bar, and I was just kind of repping it out to like get warmed up, and I went to put it back, and like I missed the J hook. So there's two hooks. I missed one, and the bar fell and hit me right here. So I have this giant welt, like big
Fuck.
ass bruise, and someone definitely saw it and didn't mention it, which is great because it was really embarrassing because I tried to act like it didn't happen, and I kept trying to like finish my workout, and I couldn't see, and I was like I could see all blur, and I couldn't drive home, and then I threw up, and pretty sure I could get myself a concussion like 3 hours ago. And
Wake
actually,
up.
this would be my second concussion ever. First one was in high school, and then I've been concussion free for a while. But this would be my second one, and it was self inflicted. I hit myself like it was bad. Like I can't believe I did it. Honestly, I was just I guess too nonchalant, and it just did not go where I thought it was, and that hit my head so hard.
I bet it did.
It
Yeah.
made a sound. It made a sound that was very uh not flattering for me, and then people looked over and I had to act like like this like, yeah, like, this is nothing. but in my head I was like, holy shit, that hurts so hard. So
In your
I'm
head, nothing was in there.
yeah, so we're gonna run through this slate, and then I'm gonna move on. I'm just gonna look at it like I'm gonna stare at a blank wall for a while. That's my plan for tonight.
Jesus Christ. All right, let's get started here, man. All right, so you don't have anything locked in, you said, for MLB, so I suppose I can
No,
kick us
well,
off.
I'm curious to see what your bet is in this slate.
Okay. I actually struggled with this slate a little bit. There's a few team totals that I'm eyeing. I like the Braves. I like the Rangers team totals. I haven't made either of those official. I wasn't loving a lot of K props, unfortunately, but I found one that I was willing to settle on, and I'll go ahead and rattle that one off. It's Christian Javier over 6.5 strikeout.
Fuck.
Nice. So I used my FanDuel profit boost. I'm not sure if it's a Virginia thing. I'm pretty sure most of you should have gotten a MLB, NBA, and NHL profit boost. So shout out to FanDuel for that. I'm going to use my profit boost here. Let me check the current odds on him. They should be quite playable. It's been a little.
I actually have his Pickett page up, so I can check that for you right now.
It's minus
On
118 on FanDuel. So if you don't have the boost, I think it's minus 105 on
minus 102
DraftKings.
on Caesars. Thank you to Pickett Sports.
Yeah,
That's the best
there you
odds
go.
there.
Yeah, thanks, Pickett. But I like the spot for him. He seems to be rounding into form. He started the season kind of wonky, but pretty solid lately. He's 2-0 in his last 3 starts. He has 24 strikeouts in those 19 innings so far in May. He is coming off a game where he missed against the Cubs, but I like the bounce back spot. So Brewers are just great targets for strikeouts. They're 6th in the league in strikeouts per game. They are technically worse versus lefties. I'm going to have a cat appearance. Hello, cat, get out of here. They're technically a little worse than lefties, but they're still really damn bad against righties too. So over the last 15 days, they have a 25.7% K rate versus righties. That's as a team. So on the hitting side, on the contact side, they're 19th in WRC plus, 22nd in average, 22nd in on base percentage, 17th in slugging. So they're not really scaring anybody. They're not really hitting righties, hard enough to scare me away from this prop. And I generally, especially this season, haven't jumped at many 6.5 props, but this is one I definitely seem to. I was definitely attracted to. I don't know how much. Here's the cat again. I don't know how much stock to put into some of these stats, but I think they're worth mentioning. But Javier he seems to prefer road games for strikeouts. He's over in 2 of 3 on the road, and he's under in all 5 games at home. At home, his strikeout rate's 24.1%. On the road so far in these starts is 33.7. So almost a 10% jump, which is pretty massive. I'm sure they'll get a little bit closer to each other as the season goes on, but it is worth noting for the past 3 seasons, his K rate's been higher on the road than it was at home. So it seems to be a pretty consistent trend with his career. I'm not sure it's a 10% trend, but he seems to like striking guys out on the road for whatever reason. So I'm not going to complain about it. The lineup, actually, I'm sure the lineup has come out by now. I never actually saw it, but I'm hoping for 5 right-handed batters, and I believe
There should be. I haven't seen it come out yet. I mean, what's it, 740 game? So it may or may not be out, but
yeah, I'm gonna double check. But I'm anticipating probably 5 righties and maybe as high as 7 guys with a 23% K rate or higher. So nice spot for Christian Javier here to get 7+ strikeouts.
yeah, what sucks is that's the one spot I was looking at, but less of his strikeouts, and I'm so intrigued. His outs are 16.5 minus 135.
Heavily thought about that.
He's over that in 7 of his 9 starts, and I hate using trends in that way, but he's finally giving this team meaningful innings. I mean, he's throwing 90 pitches a night, which that was his big thing last year, is how long could he pitch for? But this season, they're giving him. I mean, he's pitched into the 6th in like every single game but the first start, which is big because 16.5, you just need those 2 outs in the 6th. So even if he gets into some trouble. But yeah, that's the spot I was looking at. I just checked. It is still minus 135 for over 16.5 outs. And I might, it's knowing that you're playing the strikeouts, I might play the outs because I think if he's missing bats, it's a good thing. Since, I mean, in this month of May, the Brewers are middle of the pack, as you mentioned, for everything. They're not walking as much against righties, which is the only thing I could see him getting in trouble with. But he's been so much better at not walking.
12 walks in 52.5 innings. That's pretty damn good.
Yeah, so I think asking for 6 innings and not even a full 6 is so great. And I think I'm going to probably lock it in. I was just trying to see how the market was moving because it did opened at 17 and a half at like minus 105 and then dropped down a little bit. But there was one start where he did not go the full six. He got out pulled with 5 2/3. So it might be worth the juice to play that there because I do think this is a situation where he should have a really good matchup.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I like the spot a lot.
The only thing I worry with the outs is that with an off day yesterday, I always worry about bullpen action. But he's a guy that you would think they'd want to give leeway to because sometimes if you're trying to groom young stars, you want them to pitch at those spots. So he's been given the go ahead to pitch in a lot of these late innings.
Yeah, absolutely. Lineup is indeed out. It features 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 right-handed batters. Perfect. Which we want. He's much better at striking out righties than he is lefties. 34.7% versus righties, 22.6% versus lefties. So I was definitely banking on the 5 righties, and we got that. So that's good. And the lefties that he's facing are pretty high K guys. He's got Yelich, Winker, Tellez, and Turang. So even with his worst split, he's still got guys with 20 plus percentage K rate. So good stuff.
Yeah, and then someone in the chat so they had a genuine
So
question that's not betting. Feel free to ask. I mean, I can't really read, so Ryan can read it out for us. But yeah, that's the only thing I had on the slate. I think there's some decent looks, but yeah, I was having trouble finding some of these values in the pitcher market. I think I almost looked into the Rays or plus money, but against the Blue Jays, but I think the Blue Jays offense is too scary. So I do think there's some spots, but overall, I didn't really lock anything in except for looking at Javier, who has been so fantastic.
Yeah, I'm kind of intrigued in the over in that Toronto Tampa game. It's always a little hard to predict with Tampa. I feel like does a bullpen game so many days a week. It's kind of frustrating because it makes betting them such a mystery. But I'm kind of intrigued in the over. I know Bassett's like he's the hottest pitcher in the fucking league, but how long is this man gonna? How long is he gonna keep this up? Man, he's like expected ERA.
I think it's funny
like
that I think it is funny that Bassett had that one terrible start to start the year, and everyone wrote him off as like the worst pitcher ever. And then if you look at his numbers since then, he actually has been pretty good. So, but yeah, his expected numbers are really annoying because it feels like the ship's about to tip over.
Yeah, for sure. So our question poured in. My question, I'll let you answer first. My question is if they have normal 9 to 5s or do they do this for a living? I'll let you go first on that.
I live on the side of the street and I break into this nice Airbnb every once in a while.
Yeah.
I don't work the traditional 9 to 5, but I do have a real job outside of Gold Boys and this where I work in like social media marketing and content coordination. So I am a marketer and communicator. That's kind of the 2 hats I wear. I only have 2 hats, and that's both of them right there.
There you go. I was a physical therapy assistant before I got into any of this, and my first son was born like I'm talking peak COVID, like my wife wearing a mask giving birth COVID. So we didn't know what the hell to do with him during the day. So I went to part-time and I made a Twitter to kind of supplement some time, and all of this grew from that. And I ended up actually quitting that job. So I stay at home with both my kids, and then I do this, I don't want to say full-time, but this is my primary job, believe it or not. So pretty cool life. I get to just chill with my kids, which they're a pain in the ass most of the time, don't get me wrong, but it's definitely a blessed life for sure.
Yeah, Sam says that social media is not a real job. It is 2023, and any kind of marketing position you're going to work in is actually heavily involved in social media. If you don't know how to do social media, I don't even know if you get interviews anymore. That's how.
I don't know how to do social media. I have 74,000 people follow me, and I have no idea what I'm doing.
Yeah, you could tell, man. I don't even know if you can know how to spell certain words sometimes, but yeah, social media is a weird thing because I do it so often with work and other stuff through my years that I actually hate social media personally. Like I don't really use social media for my own personal use because I just get so sick of it. So it is something, but yeah, someone said social media marketing is a 24/7 job. Thank you in the chat for Rick to tell Sam to eat shit. But yeah, that's all I had for MLB slate. So if you want to move over to NBA, we can start talking about this big game 4, elimination game 4.
Game 4. Yep. I got the chalkiest pick you could ever dream of. Absolutely ever dream of. And I can't wait to spill it. But I think we're on the same guy, different props. So we better hope for a good night out of this fella.
Yeah,
Do you want to kick us off since I shared that player?
I found this guy. It's a hidden gem, I think, in this spot.
Yeah, I think so.
His name is LeBron James. If you haven't heard of him, I
LeJean Brames.
I wait. Let me see what team he's on.
He
He
said
is
LeJean
on.
Brames.
He's a Laker. I believe he plays both forward positions. And if you know me, I don't really like to bet on chalky guys, but sometimes you have to in the playoffs. And I'm not sure what your prop is. Is your prop points? PR?
We'll see.
Okay. Well,
I won't tell you.
my props on LeBron James is I think this is like one of the first times I've actually bet on LeBron is I took half unit on each. I bet over 8.5 rebounds, which is minus 122 now on FanDuel, and his over 17 and a half RA, which is minus 10, oh, actually minus 113 on FanDuel. So slightly better odds, but I took half unit on each. I do think there's going to be some love for his points tonight, which I totally get, but his RA has been wild in this series. And it's also one of those things where if you believe like me that D'Angelo Russell is becoming unplayable in the series, they attack him on offense. He doesn't have the length. He doesn't have the length to really be out there. And in that case, LeBron James is taking so much more of the brunt of like basketball plays where he's not scoring as much as maybe you would hope or think, but he is doing so much of the ball handling and so much of the half court and transition offense where he's actually like he's like Jokic level right now in terms of potential assists. Not saying he's Jokic level currently, but I'm saying he's averaging 18 potential assists in this series. That is a lot. Like that's like James Harden in the pick and roll in the mid-season level. Like that's a lot of potential assists. He is making 58 passes per game, and he's averaging 10.3 assists. And in terms of rebounds, he's averaging 15 rebound chances a game, and he's converting about 9 of them. And it's one of those things where he is going to play 40 plus minutes unless they get blown out, which I think they at least come out firing a little bit. But yeah, in these situations, I think rebounds and RA is such a hustle stat, and LeBron James has always shown that he's a hustle kind of guy. And if you look at his stats in elimination games, which I have pulled up, his last 5 elimination games, like sure he's scoring a lot of points, but I mean he's getting like his last rebounds in elimination games were 9, 7, 15, 11, 8, 13, 10, 11. And then the assist, he's gotten 7 more assists in his last 8 elimination games. So nice. I get the idea that because it's elimination, maybe LeBron tries to take over. He opts to score a lot more, but I think he's just on the court so much for these RA chances. And I think this is just a great look. And it's one of those things where if LeBron James doesn't put out the effort to get these rebounds or to use his vision in these transition plays, then you live with it because, you know, you go down with the ship there. But I think that he's just getting so many opportunities here.
Yeah, for sure. So I juggled him pretty much all day long and how I wanted to play him, or at least all morning long. And I just found a price that I really, really like. So you also have another option. This is again my profit boost play. So I used my profit boost on LeBron to score 25 plus. So his over under is actually 25.5 on FanDuel, which I'm cool with that if you have to, but you could also still get 24.5 on Caesars at minus 119, which is very playable there. But, you know, Brian touched on a lot of this. I loved so many LeBron props. I couldn't really decide what to do. But one thing that I found really intriguing is he's only actually hit 25 or more points in 44% of his games this postseason, which is kind of crazy. But A, they haven't really faced a situation, anything like this. And B, he has 21 points in 14 out of 15 games, at least 21 points. So like his floor is so consistent. He's been right there every single game, but then they haven't had to deal with these kind of circumstances. The worst that they've faced so far, not including this series, of course, being down 2-0 and 1-0, but the worst that they faced in prior series was 1-1. That was their worst case scenario. They ended up winning game 3 in both. So they're down 0-3 for the first time this postseason. I mean, where is he going to go? They're really even going to bother to sit this man on the bench? So, I mean, it's LeBron at the end of the day. Like I said, this is the chalkiest thing I could ever think of. But, you know, are they really going to rest him? And they might for maybe a 3-minute stretch in the first half. And then,
yeah,
God forbid if we have another blowout and he sits the fourth quarter, you know, I'll just take the kick to the nuts and take the L. But, you know, he's going to be out there for 43 minutes, I'm thinking. You know, he's seeing 18 field goal attempts, 6.3 3-point attempts. 7.3 free throw attempts, a 26% usage rate. For those kind of minutes, that kind of volume, 25 points really just doesn't feel like it's asking for that much, especially in this scenario. So, one other thing I'm kind of banking on and hoping on is we finally saw him start to make some threes last game. So the man shot 15.8% from three this series in the 3 games. He didn't hit one leading up till game 3, and then I think he hit 2 or 3. I don't actually remember. Hopefully we can build off that. That would be really nice. I would like for him to knock down 2 or 3 threes tonight. That would help tremendously. So I don't think he's going to shoot 16% forever from deep. So if we can get a 33% night, I'll take the shit out of that. And, 25 points from LeBron, man. How hard is that? Come on, that's all I need.
We're gonna find out. I think he's set up for such a great 21-10-10 night here. Perfect for LeBron. No, I think it's one of those things where sometimes it's tough to commit to the chalky players or the stars, but as you mentioned, especially for my case and your case, if you're on the court, it helps your volume. But especially for RA, there's nothing more that I like in the playoffs and taking someone's RA for a guy that you just know is going to play 40 plus minutes, because being on the court is half the battle for RA, because if there's missed shots, it doesn't really matter if you're sitting on the bench. You just have to be available to rack up these stats. So yeah, I do think it's one of those spots for LeBron where you could see him stuff up the stat sheet in any sort of way. So if you wanted to take PRA and kind of have the benefit of any one stat going off, you can do that. But I do think there's some value in maybe his RA or his assist, because I do think people will think that, if he's scoring, he's not necessarily passing, but his usage rate is so crazy high that there's plenty of room for both. So you hope he comes out firing here. I'll check what the triple double stat numbers are, because maybe I'll use my boost on that for some fun. And then what else? So do you have 2 other plays in this?
No, dude, I'm actually all set. I think this is a career low for the show. I actually only have two plays today, so that'll be a very rare case.
This is perfect, because I can go like just mentally check out early then, because I have like a terrible headache and I'm not supposed you're not supposed to take anything if you do think you have a concussion. So I'm just gonna be drinking water and staring at paint drying. But yeah, I do think there's some value in these spots. D'Angelo Russell is at 10.5 now for points. If you are on the under train, like our friend Will Hill with him all series, I think 10.5 is so scary, because even if he is out there, he's going to be chucking. And I think that line has been so over adjusted you're seeing a guy go from 18.5 to 10.5 in a 3-game span. That is unprecedented. That's wild to think about. So someone said Reeves has been really consistent all series. I do think that's also true. I think there's just one of those things where if you're the Lakers, you have to make so many adjustments, and the only guy that I feel comfortable with in a lot of these adjustments you might see is that LeBron James is going to be heavily involved in some kind of way for his usage. So no doubt. It sucks to back a guy like that, but yeah, because you feel weird backing a guy like in a big spot like that, because you feel like it's so easy, quote unquote. But I do think that his usage would be there. And then I lean the Lakers side. I mean, I don't really bet sides, but it was like -2.5 earlier. I think that's another play where you kind of want to take it, but then you look at it and you're like, oh shit, everyone's going to take that, because how do you not back Bron in elimination game? So yeah, I do lean the side. I lean the over, because I usually elimination games, they slow down, but this series has kind of been, I think it sounds dumb, but it all matters if you're making shots, because neither team has really buckled down mega defensively, I don't think, in their half court defense. It's just been some bad shooting, which has been almost the difference in the total. So I feel like this will be a fun game to watch, as long as it's not a blowout and they give up early.
All right, Tone Stamp gifted a sub to Ginger Snap, who watches every week, which we dearly, dearly appreciate. Also, just
we have one person that watches. Yeah,
seriously. We have a lot of cool comments today, just from people saying, this is a really big part of their week and stuff like that. Which is really cool.
Great. It's great to hear, because I dread this thing every single week. I always look at the
Ryan so much.
I look at the clock and I'm like, is that today? Fuck that. But
Sam,
that's
5 subs.
That is a great
sub.
Breaking
out the wallet.
Yeah, and he just mentioned like 10 minutes ago he got laid off, so his credit card might bounce.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a great segue into two things. It was my anniversary this weekend, and one of the things we did, rather than do a fancy dinner, is we just got drunk and went to a Dave and Buster's, which is pretty cool stuff.
Dude,
If you've been dating long enough, arcades and just doing that was so much
fuck
better than going.
yes, dude.
But I wanted to mention this because I know you're an Office fan. I won an auction for a signed Office sign signed by John Krasinski, Steve Carell, and Rainn Wilson. So
Damn,
yeah,
that's
I
a
got
cool haul right there.
I got the call today. It's signed by all three, and it's pretty cool stuff. So
Hell yeah.
that's gonna be a cool thing, and that segues into the Pickett popular plays, and it leads off with someone that's person just mentioned, Austin Reeves. Austin Reeves is the most bet player on Pickett Sports. And if you're wondering why, I think a big deal of it is that there is a FanDuel boost for him. I believe it's him, Murray. Is it Michael Porter Jr.?
Let me
All to
pull it
hit,
up. I don't
all to
remember
all to
actually.
hit 2 threes. There's a big boost. So
That feels like a great boost, honestly. I mean, maybe because the books, sometimes I'll look at boosts and like, well, these guys are fucked. And then some days I'm like, well, they cleaned up yesterday with that game. And fucking Joe Mazzulla. Now I understand they're down like 30 entering the fourth, but do you guys agree with punting that game and putting in Cornette with 12 minutes to go? I mean, realistically, what are they going to do? Are they going to come back? Probably
are
not,
you
but
saying that
are you shitting me taking all these guys out with 12 minutes left?
I will say it is a very bad look. I think it's one of those things where sometimes you don't want to think about sports being political, but sometimes it is. Like sometimes you do have that like politics aspect to it, and pulling your starters to play 0 minutes in the fourth is just such a bad look.
Oh man.
I think they had to after Jimmy Butler did the timeout thing right in Al's face. I think after that they just gave up on hope. But yeah, a lot. Both boost on FanDuel tonight. There is a LeBron, AD, and Jokic 20+ points, and there's the threes one. The only thing I have to say with threes is that as good as they look, 3-point is like Ryan earlier mentioned LeBron James's floor, how often he scores 21 points plus. There's such a big difference between points and threes because threes can be so high variance that like I like the idea of like, oh, Steph Curry is 4.5 for his threes. He averages 5 threes a game. Yeah, but then there's like games where you shoot 1 for 8 or 1 for 9. So there's just such a high variance prop. So I did look at both the boosts and I think they're both plus EV, but the only thing I get weary about is taking anything with 3-pointers because they can be so high variance.
Yeah, for sure, for sure.
Which
Somebody
is
asked about
why. Oh wait, someone asked about what?
uh NHL, an NHL look. I will note I've only had probably 2 or 3 NHL bets over the past few weeks. I've just been so entrenched in MLB and NBA, but I did peek into NHL tonight. I'm kind of feeling Frederick Anderson over 28.5 saves. Now Carolina's defense is super, super good. But Florida at home is just absolutely unbelievable at getting the puck on net. So yeah, I definitely like Frederick Anderson saves. There's also under popular, you can go to popular parlays. Now this one's a little bit more of a long shot, but you could bet both Frederick Anderson and Sergei Bobrovsky to have 29.5 saves or more, which is plus 320. And then with the boost, it's pretty damn good odds with the rate of overtime in this series. You just never know. So I like Matthew Tkachuk goal as well. I think that's a pretty interesting look. He scored in both games. So but yeah, I don't talk much hockey on the show, but I had somebody asking, so I'll throw
I
a
think
little hockey insight out there.
I think Tone Snap is a little upset with the Sergi comment there for
Dude, what
Sergey.
did you think? See, now the reason I don't talk hockey very often, I've talked with a couple friends about making a hockey show, but I sat there. If I can't pronounce Jokic or Giannis, what makes you think I'm going to pronounce these hockey guys' names correctly?
Dude,
So,
you said Sergi. It's Sergey.
Yeah, I mean, I even knew.
hey, I'm all inclusive here. It's all good.
Oh my
mean,
lord.
he
What
tried
the
his
fuck ever,
best.
man. Get out of here, Tone. Mute your damn mic.
Yeah, I mean, even I knew that, and I haven't really watched much NHL this year. But
Yeah. I don't give a shit.
so
You know who I'm talking
I
about.
was bringing up the FanDuel boost because that also explains a little bit more why LeBron Jams, how do you
Jump.
Jams? Yeah, LeBron Jams. He is the second most bet player on Pickett, and kind of what I'm a little happy with is that his points are definitely heavily bet because of that boost. Because I'm seeing a lot of people with 20 plus in their parlays, so that's the FanDuel boost. But
Yeah.
I'm a little happy to see that his assists are the second best thing, which kind of falls in line to what I was saying, the thing that just because he's going to be scoring does not mean you should expect him to dip in those assist numbers, because his
Absolutely.
assist volume is wild. I mean, he's playing point guard, shooting guard, left forward, center, and goalie for this team. Yeah, he's playing a lot of different hats in this series. So I do like LeBron James tonight. We already kind of covered that. And then finally, Jamal Murray is the third most bet player. And
How can you not?
I have an honest question for you. Still on FanDuel, and I checked this morning, Jamal Murray is plus 185 for Western Conference Finals MVP. And like, is he still plus 200? I mean,
Thought about that.
this guy is scoring 35 points a night right now in this series. He is just taking over. I get it, because a lot of times they give it to the best player on the team, but in this case, I mean, if they sweep and he comes out and he scores another 35 points, it's just like, I don't know. It's almost one where it's you think about it and you're just like, shouldn't this be closer to even? And I think it's tempting, because it was plus 260 last night.
Dude, that is super, super tempting. I saw somebody, maybe it was Will Hill that posted it. I think he went on the Joker side, and his reasoning was saying, like, they messed up the regular season MVP. They're not gonna, they're not gonna mess this up. They're gonna gift this one to Jokic. But I mean, if we throw like all things out the window and just look at the stats of the series, I think Murray's got to be the pick. But I understand that Jokic is
it's likely going to Jokic.
Is.
I just wanted to pose that question to you, because that is a crazy odds for a guy that's
it won't matter for me, because I actually don't even get those markets in Virginia. I'm unfortunately about them anyway. But interesting look. I just feel like Murray is worth a sprinkle at the very least, but certainly will not be shocked when and if Jokic ends up actually getting it. But plus 185 for a guy averaging 35 right now feels really tempting.
And Sam in the chat is talking about Julia Fox in Uncut Gems, where she has an interview where it's Uncut Gems, like Uncut Gems. We gotta watch that clip. That was my my what do you call it? My influence.
Oh, there you go.
That's what kind of put into that LeBron James thing. But yeah, I think there's a lot of Murray love, and for good reason. And I don't know if the Lakers, no matter what their adjustments are, I don't know if they have an adjustment for Jamal Murray, because he's just been that good.
They seemed to at the end of last game. In the second half, I think he shot 2 of 9, 7 points, hit 14 potential assists. So I've considered his assist. I think, if Dennis Schroeder can stay out of foul trouble this round, they'll at least have somebody on him that has proven to be able to contain him at least a little bit, whereas D'Lo just gets absolutely dismantled every time.
D'Lo just doesn't have the length too, which is so tough for a team like the Nuggets that are just so lengthy, and they just been hunting him. So yeah, I think the only thing that can stop Jamal Murray is if they just completely bail out on D'Angelo Russell minutes and just like try to lock him up. But this team is just it's too talented to double anybody too. So you're always gonna have open shooters. So it's very tough to stop this team.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm really curious to see the news, and I mean I'm probably not going out on too far of a limb here, but what do you think the chances are that Hachimura starts at the 4 instead of D'Lo at the 1? Maybe they throw LeBron.
I think it's probably Vanderbilt starts, and then I don't know if they're gonna have. I think it's really tough to start Murray, but
Murray.
I mean Murray to start Russell. Sorry, because I have Murray on my screen here. But yeah, I agree with you. I think it's really tough to start D'Lo in this spot. But we talked about politics earlier, and it's the same kind of thing where what does it look like if you bench him? But it's not. If you have eyes, you're seeing what everyone else is seeing, and he's just been unserviceable.
Yeah, I thought something that was really interesting when I was watching the game last time is they did like a 5-1, not necessarily even like pick and roll. It's just kind of how they got into their offensive set. But Jamal Murray would set the screen for Jokic as Jokic dribbled up the court. Like it seems so ass backwards and so uncomfortable to stare at the point guard setting the screen for the center. But that just goes to show the versatility of that team and the creativity that they're allowed to play with Mike Malone being the genius behind the offense, and of course Jokic being able to execute it on the floor. But interesting stuff. So
yeah. So in the chat said Ham still. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like it's one of those things where it's easier said than done to be in a coach's position. So I do think he starts, but I don't think he plays many minutes. But yeah, I think that kind of wraps up our show. We only had 4 picks if you count the fact that I'm gonna probably lock in Christian Javier over 16.5 ounce on MGM. And then I also took LeBron James over 8.5 rebounds, paired along with taking his over 17.5 rebounds / assists. I like his RA in this game. And Ryan has 2 picks, which were
Christian Javier over 6.5 strikeouts. Where did you say had the best odds?
It's Caesars right now if you don't have a boost.
Caesars without the FanDuel boost. And then I took LeBron 25 plus points. I again took that with a profit boost. If you don't have it, the next best odds you'll find is minus 119 on Caesar Sportsbook, which the only reason I know that now is because of Pickett. So thanks to Pickett, one of our sponsors. Thanks to Sleeper, one of our newer sponsors. We do not have a sleeper pick, but I think you can pretty much get used to us having at least one on this show from here on out. But yeah, thanks to everybody for tuning in. Got a lot of really cool comments, some funny ass comments, and a lot of support in this episode. I'm feeling like, so just heavily appreciate it. Definitely be back next Monday.